1/3 of American families spend time in nature one time each month. Only 27% of American children get to play outside every day. Elementary age children spend 3 times more time interacting with computers and the television than they do playing outside. So, given all of the benefits that we know time in nature provides for children, right? Reduced stress, reduced symptoms of ADHD, improved eyesight, improved cognition. Given all of those benefits, those first statistics are alarming, right? Time in nature is essential to human well being, and it is a practice that we can include as early childhood educators. Hello, I'm Nicole Dravillas-Fravel, and this is Wildwood Teaching. And today I am presenting you with 5 easy ways to incorporate nature into your preschool program. No matter where your preschool is, if you are urban or rural, no matter the size of your outdoor space or whether it is covered in astroturf, um, or no matter how comfortable you feel right now about teaching outside. All of these are very simple and easy to implement tomorrow. So, in fact, the first 2 ideas that I'm going to give you, you don't even have to go outside. This is bringing nature into your program because the good news is while children will get the most benefits from being outside, they can still have partial benefits to everything I just mentioned by being exposed to nature inside the classroom. So, the easiest way to expose children to nature is to bring natural loose parts into your program. So, yes, you could bring shells, but it could also be whatever you have access to. Right now, we have a lot of leaves. We have a lot of pine cones on the ground. We have a lot of helicopter seeds on the ground. We almost always have a lot of twigs. It does not need to be fancy in nature. Now, you could go out and collect this as a teacher. You could enlist the children to collect it, either because you are doing it in the neighborhood right around your program, or because you are on a field trip somewhere, or because you are asking families to do this searching with their children when they're not in school. And bonus, that gets the families outside in nature. And then once you bring them in, right, you're going to spread those baskets throughout whatever centers you have. So make sure there are some natural materials in your building and blocks area. There is no reason why children can't build with the twigs or use the pine cones or leaves to decorate their blocks. Put some of those natural loose parts on your light table. See how they interact with the light. Definitely put the natural loose parts in your dramatic play area, right? That can be food, it can be clothing, it can be decorations. So many different uses for those natural loose parts. Make sure it's not this is my natural loose parts center, but that they are incorporated throughout the day and in throughout whatever way the children might play with them. All right, number 2. Set up a nature sensory table that is a center, right? That you regularly switch up with whatever natural items inspire you or the children, right? So, for example, you could just put a whole bunch of soil in it and have some sort of scooping or digging tools. Or you could put a whole bunch of long stemmed flowers, right? Use the ones that were decorations before, were pretty bouquets, but are on their last legs, right? And you're just finding a reuse for them. Set them up in a table with some scissors. Set up some leaves in that sensory table with hole punches. When I was indoors, simplest thing ever. I got a whole bunch of crunchy brown fall leaves, stick them in the sensory area and let the children crunch them, right? And then you can always turn that into compost for your winter garden that they're turning into the garden. So then they are also learning some science through that sensory table. There's not really a limit to what you can put in that sensory table. And mix and match, whether you're having it with water, whether you're having it with shaving cream, whether you're having it with sand, whether you are incorporating it with slime. All right. Number 3, that this kind of middle one is in the middle because you could do it indoors or you could do it outdoors. And now last week, I was just listening to the radio as I was driving on errands somewhere, and they had a trivia question, right? And said, what do studies show is the number one thing that you can put on your desk to be both physically and mentally healthier? Yeah, you guessed it. Yeah. A potted plant, right? So plants, bring plants into your program. A garden doesn't need to take up a lot of space, right? You can do a window box, and that's either a window box outside the classroom or inside on the windowsill. You can just put individual little pots where children are planting something right on the windowsill or a shelf. You can have a vine that crawls up whatever fence you have on your play yard. You can put in larger ceramic pots and plant all sorts of things, vegetables, flowers, right? Kind of your mid-sized mini garden. And what I like about those ceramic pots, right, is children can reach them, right? A lot of times, if you have that large garden, you have large garden boxes, it's hard for children to reach the middle. It's not really kid size. You've got those, whatever you have there, those 2-foot diameter ceramic pots, they can all stand around it and plant, and you can have a number of them in whatever space, right? They doesn't have to be all together, right? I can have one potted plant in that corner, one potted plant in that corner, wherever I have the space for it. All right, now I'm going to take you outside a little bit. So, number 4, make a regularly scheduled time in your schedule where you are having extended learning time outside, no matter what, right? So if that is Forest Fridays or Outdoor Tuesdays or afternoon in the park, whatever you want to call it, right, go ahead and get outside. And if you are new to nature-based teaching, I would say do not start with nature. Start with the routine of getting outside. And you can bring a book outside. You can do your movement activities outside. You can bring blocks outside. And try to get beyond the obstacles. See the obstacles as a challenge. So, for instance, let's say it's your regularly scheduled afternoon outside and it is pouring down rain. Hopefully, you've warned the parents and children all have the proper clothing and we can get outside. Bring out the Legos. Go ahead and bring out the plastic, right? It's going to hold up to the rain. So try to have that problem solving, right? I'm going to do this no matter what, and I'm going to make it work. And gradually you will build up your repertoire of what you can do. And gradually you and the children will start noticing things in nature that can then become more nature-based. Okay, number 5. I'm going to recommend the pile of dirt. Fill a wheelbarrow with dirt, haul it into your yard, whatever that is, plop it on top of the AstroTurf. Actually, there's an advantage if you have AstroTurf, which is that it's not going to touch the ground. One thing I am going to say is if you do haul in the dirt, you probably want to, at least have a tarp that covers it, tamp down the tarp with logs, stones, whatever you have, that will keep it from turning into compost. And if you have that AstroTurf or you have that cement underneath, even better, because that is going to help keep your soil fresh. And then treat it like a sandbox, right? Let the children dig. Let them play with those large Tonka trucks. Let them use buckets, shovels, molds. Let the soil get wet and change consistency. Bring out the magnifying glasses, because there will be insects, right? So use it in the same way that you would your sandbox. And if these 5 ideas kind of whet your appetite for nature-based teaching, I want you to keep your eye out for something that I am calling 10 for 10. And these are 10 very small scope, limited, half an hour or less trainings on each one is on one very specific topic. So it might be, how do you start a garden? Or what do you do if you take your kids on a hike or a walk? Really specific topics. They are all going to be offered for our holiday pricing. Hopefully I have this ready by that, November, Thanksgiving time. They're all going to be offered $10 each. You can choose the one that matches where you think you will get the most benefit, get a quick return, right? Maybe come back for more. There will be some reduced price options if you do want to purchase the whole bundle. But I'm getting very excited about this. I want you to get excited too. So be on the lookout for it. It is coming. It is coming down the pike. And then join me here next week for another free episode of Wildwood Teaching. I will see you there.